Oh, Hunter. I'm so sorry. Did I wake you? No, it's nothing. It's just a stubborn cold. It's no wonder with these warm days and freezing nights. My poor sinuses can't keep up. You're not catching it, are you? That's good. How's your side? Let me see. Healing nicely, looks like. We should be able to take the stitches out in a day or two. The bruises are mostly faded as well, I was noticing earlier today. No, there's no need. Honestly, I've appreciated the help. I told you you could stay as long as you needed to here, and I meant it. My farm is out of the way, and unless I sell to the local villagers at the weekly market, I don't have much occasion to run into anybody else. I suppose what I'm saying is, if you need to hide here, you can. Hunter, come on. How could you not be a deserter? I'm not judging. One must have strong convictions indeed to leave the king's army, especially at your level. You still haven't told me exactly what it is you do, but I'm beginning to suspect you won't. I don't want any trouble, and I'm happy to continue to tend to you. I have no love for our sovereign, nor his thuggish troops. They've been given license to do whatever they want in these lands. I'm guessing that might be what happened to Allison. Listen, you're safe here. Just help me out a little with the crops as you've been doing, and I don't care how long you stay. It's nice to have the company. Someone who doesn't look at me with fear or suspicion. You were delirious the last time we spoke about it, but yes, I'm the only one in these parts. The rest are human. Some are kind, some less so. It's why I was so protective the first time I met you. Excuse me. Oh, damn cold. Let me see. It's after midnight. Oh no, a nightmare? I'm so sorry, that sounds horrible. I know you've been hearing her voice in your head. I completely understand. I struggle with sleep myself. Bring your cot over here, and we can sit by the window together. Sometimes the night isn't so dark if you have someone to share it with. Would you like some tea? Very well. Let me put the kettle on. Sit. You know what almost always helps me get back to sleep? Reading. Actually, let me be more specific. Reading something boring. I have a few titles here in the cabin. Oh, don't worry. I don't generally read those kinds of books. What kind do you think? I'm a farmer, Hunter. Almanacs, non-fiction. Here. Here are a couple of candidates. The Rural Compendium, 5th edition, or Botany and Soilcraft by Edwin Moss. Which one sounds worse? Botany and Soilcraft it is. Here, lie down, relax. Do you need an extra blanket? Good. Right. In my opinion, one of the only things you can do when both your heart and your body are broken is rest. So just listen to the sound of my voice and fall asleep if you can. I don't mind. Now then, here we go. Chapter 7. On the cultivation, temperament, and peculiar habits of fruit-bearing trees in the eastern marches. From Botany and Soilcraft by Edwin Moss. It has often been observed, particularly by those who have endeavoured to coax fruit from the obstinate soils of the eastern marches, that the character of an orchard is as changeable as the character of the people who tend it. Indeed, the old proverb states, "As the soil sleeps, so shall the harvest wake." The present chapter concerns itself not with the superficial enjoyment of fruit, nor the poetic admiration of blossoms, but rather with the practical, patient, and often painfully meticulous requirements necessary to maintain a productive orchard over the course of many seasons. Readers seeking excitement are advised to turn elsewhere. Part 1. on the nature of orchard soil. The foundation of all fruitful growth is soil. A novice may consider soil merely dirt. The experienced orchard keeper knows it to be a living ledger of minerals, memory, and meticulous balance. A. The three common soils of the marches. Scholars classify the arable soils of the eastern marches into three primary varieties. The first is Lark's Head loam, dark, slightly moist, pleasantly crumbly when pressed between thumb and forefinger, famed for its ability to retain moisture without drowning the roots. Orchardists prize Lark's Head loam for its agreeable temperament, though it is slow to warm in early spring. The second is bright clay. This is a heavy, reddish clay, notable for its reluctance to cooperate. Trees grown in bright clay tend to be stunted unless great efforts are made to break and amend the soil. However, it holds nutrients exceptionally well, and fruit flavor is considered more robust due to the tree's, quote, struggle, end quote. And the third type is windfall silt. Pale, nearly silver in colour when dry, and so fine it drifts with the slightest breeze. While rich in trace minerals, windfall silt drains so quickly that only hardy, deep-rooted varieties flourish. Orchardists employing windfall silt must water diligently and mulch heavily. Section B is soil temperament, in parens, a local superstition. All right. Ancient field records describe a curious phenomenon known as soil temperament, a belief that soil develops preferences over time. While dismissed by modern botanists, enough anecdotal evidence remains to give the idea some weight. Certain soils, it is said, favor gentle hands, yielding better fruit when tended by patient growers, resent iron tools, compacting when ploughed too aggressively, grow restless if left fallow for too many seasons in succession. The phenomenon of soil temperament is unproven, but widely accepted among elder orchard keepers, who often insist the ground itself recognizes its caretaker. I wonder if I have temperamental soil. Who knows? Part 2. On the proper spacing and arrangement of fruit trees. If the novice orchardist errs, it is most often in spacing. A. The rule of 7. It says, fruit-bearing trees should be planted according to the rule of 7, which states, no branch should be so near another that a crow could step between them without opening its wings. This equates, generally, to 7 paces between mature canopies. B. The cardinal wind principle. Long observation demonstrates that most orchard trees lean minutely yet consistently toward the prevailing eastern wind. Thus, saplings must be planted with a deliberate western inclination, often requiring subtle staking, so that the mature tree stands upright. Section C. Companion trees. Some trees thrive in pairs or trios, though superstition often governs these arrangements more than science. Apple trees prefer the company of pairs. Plums sulk unless surrounded by at least 2 others of their kind. Cherries grow best near water sources and are said to weep, in quotes, if denied them. Scholars debate whether this is botanical compatibility or merely folklore. Nevertheless, the traditions persist. Part 3. On the grafting of boughs and the encouragement of hybrid varieties. A. Methods of grafting. 4 principal grafting techniques are recognized across the Eastern Marches. Each requires patience, steady hands, and an understanding of how a tree responds to injury and repair. What follows is a detailed examination of each method suitable for novice orchardists and seasoned practitioners alike. Method 1. The cleft graft. The cleft graft is the oldest and most direct method of grafting, often used when the host trunk or branch is significantly thicker than the scion to be joined. The orchardist selects a healthy, vigorous limb, removes its upper portion, and then splits the exposed stub with a clean, measured strike of a grafting knife. This creates a deep, narrow cleft, reminiscent of the opening in a well-used book. Into this cleft, the orchardist inserts 1 or 2 sharpened scions, carefully whittled into slender wedges. The natural pressure of the wood helps hold them in place. Over time, if moisture and temperature are kind, the host's trunk cambium layer will knit to the scion's own, forming a union stronger than either wood alone. The cleft graft is favored for its reliability. However, healing is often slow, and great care must be taken to prevent water from pooling in the exposed cut. Ordinances advise sealing the top with wax or resin, both to discourage pests and to keep the tree from, quote, weeping out its vitality. The second method is the whip and tongue graft. The whip and tongue graft is considered more elegant, though it demands finesse. It is used primarily on young and supple branches, typically 1 or 2 seasons old, where the diameters of host and scion are nearly identical. The orchardist makes a long, slanted cut on both pieces, each forming a smooth surface. Upon each slanted face, a smaller incision creates a tongue. These tongues interlock when the pieces are slid together, forming a natural brace that holds the scion firmly in place even without binding. Because the cut surfaces are broad and closely aligned, the cambium layers meet intimately, allowing for swifter union than in the cleft graft. If the orchardist maintains proper tension and keeps the surfaces unmarred, the graft may begin to take within a week. This method is beloved by orchardists who value precision and craftsmanship. Its tidy seam becomes nearly invisible after a few seasons, leaving no outward sign of the union, save for the unique character of the fruit it bears. The third method is the bark graft. The bark graft is used chiefly in late spring, when the sap has begun to rise and the bark slips easily from the wood beneath it. Older, thicker trunks, too unwieldy for the whip and tongue technique, are ideal candidates. To perform a bark graft, the orchardist first removes the upper portion of a host limb, creating a flat surface. Then, vertical slits are made through the bark. The scion, cut into a tapered shape, is gently slid between the bark and wood, resting flush against the host's exposed inner layer. The rising sap of the season encourages swift adherence. The bark graft allows multiple scions to be placed around a single host surface, sometimes resulting in a tree bearing several varieties of fruit on the same limb. While this can appear chaotic to inexperienced orchardists, the technique is invaluable when rejuvenating old stock or encouraging greater diversity within a limited orchard space. Some practitioners caution that improper binding or insufficient pressure from the bark may cause the scion to shift in wind. Thus, close inspection during the first few weeks is paramount. The fourth method is the moonbind graft. The moonbind graft, the rarest and most ceremonial method, is practiced only during the first full moon of spring. Tradition insists that sap rises more eagerly on such nights, and that the moonlight soothes the shock of grafting, though scholars have yet to find measurable proof. In this method, the orchardist cuts a narrow, crescent-shaped flap into the host's bark, mirroring the curve of the moon, then tucks the graft beneath it. The cut is small, almost delicate, requiring patience and a steady hand. Once set, the flap is sealed with a blend of beeswax, powdered willow bark, and a trace of honey, an old recipe said to encourage acceptance. Moonbind grafts rarely fail. In generations of recorded orchard keeping, they have shown remarkable resilience to winter frost and drought alike. Some orchardists claim these unions result in sweeter fruit or blossoms that open a day earlier in spring. Whether this is superstition or subtle truth remains a topic of gentle debate among horticultural scholars. Regardless, the moonbind graft persists as a beloved tradition, half practical, half spiritual, and wholly emblematic of the orchardist's hope for the seasons to come. Doing all right, Hunter? Shall I continue? Very good. The next part is part 4 on watering practices. A. Shallow versus deep watering. Shallow watering encourages shallow roots. Deep watering encourages strong, drought-resistant roots. Thus, the orchardist should water infrequently but generously. A full soaking should reach 2 hands depth into the soil to be considered adequate. B. Dew-catching nets. In regions prone to morning fog, orchardists often stretch dew-catching nets between trees. Condensed moisture drips slowly into the soil throughout the day, an efficient, ancient technique requiring little labor. C. Signs of overwatering. Overwatered trees exhibit yellowing leaves, bark ridges softening, mushrooms appearing in the mulch. A tree that, quote, sighs when the wind blows is said to be waterlogged, though scholars have yet to measure such a sound to satisfaction. Part 5 on pests, spirits, and the courteous management of both. A. Common orchard pests include leaf borers, mites, root rot, root gnats, whose larvae are especially troublesome. Traditional remedies include lime water rinses, application of oils, and ash-based soil tonics. B. Orchard spirits. Though dismissed by academics, orchard keepers maintain that small spirits, similar to domestic house sprites, sometimes inhabit old trees. They are described as harmless, easily startled, and fond of polished stones and bits of colored thread. Leaving a trinket at the base of the oldest tree is said to ensure a warmer growing season. Scientific evidence is limited, I'll bet, but the ritual remains widely practiced. Fascinating. Part 6 on harvest and seasonal maintenance. A. The 3 signs of ripeness. Fruit should be harvested only when it detaches with a gentle upward twist. The underside begins to show golden freckling, and the seeds within turn fully brown. Harvesting prematurely results in fruit that bruises easily and stores poorly. B. Winter preparations. Before the first frost, mulch should be applied generously. Young trees must be wrapped in burlap. Grafted unions checked for cracks. Tools cleaned and oiled, then stored in a dry place. The orchardist must walk the grounds at dusk on the final temperate evening, said to allow the trees to remember the warmth through the cold months. The pseudoscience is really sort of charming. Part 7. Closing remarks on the patience required of orchardists. Orchard keeping remains one of the more demanding agricultural disciplines. Trees bloom at their own leisure. Fruit forms at its own pace. Soil heals slowly. Branches mend even slower. Yet, for those who endure the long seasons, the orchard rewards with quiet, humble abundance. As one elder orchard keeper famously declared, quote, "The patient hand receives the sweetest fruit." End quote. Ready to try for bed again, Hunter? I think I might be. Sleep well. I hope your dreams are pleasant. Yes. Good night.